Now those are some of the attractions across Sri Lanka, especially in Colombo as far as the Christmas season is concerned. Now Christmas has already dawned in several other countries.
We're ready to bring to you more details on this later in our news bulletin. But first, your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Dawn of Christmas at midnight today. Sri Lanka's main Christmas Mass to take place at the Our Lady of Sorrows Church, Joala. Special arrangements in place for security of churches. 2,371 million rupees from the Indian government for development projects in the eastern province. Any agreement will be signed only after discussions with the people, says cabinet spokesman. Shooting in Joala residence for a second time. 100 shootings so far this year. 55 fatalities. Veteran singer Priya Surya Sena bids adieu.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
We are just a few hours away from the dawn of Christmas. Christians here in Sri Lanka and across the globe are ready to welcome this joyous occasion. Although born in a humble manger, Jesus Christ sent a message of peace, love and hope to all humanity, especially the poor and the oppressed. His birth in Bethlehem over 2,000 years ago continues to be a symbol of faith and the true meaning of Christmas. Christians around the world, including millions in Sri Lanka, celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ each year with great devotion. The main Christmas Mass is being held at the Vatican's St. Peter's Basilica, led by His Holiness Pope Francis. In this sacred setting, the Pope will deliver the Christmas message to the world. In Sri Lanka, the main Christmas Mass will take place at the Our Lady of Sorrows Church, Joala, under the leadership of His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith, the Archbishop of Colombo. We now cross over to Budmin Amaradivakara, who is near the Golface Green, for an update concerning the festivities and Christmas preparations going on there.
Yes, of course, Therudi. Budmin is now going to join with us live from Golface Green as Christmas festivities across Colombo are in full swing today. There is quite a bit of traffic along the roads. Let's hear from Budmin, who is joining us now live from Golface Green. Budmin, could you hear us?
Yes, Sharon and Theruni, thank you so much. I'm reporting to you from the Golface Green, and as we can see right now, there's a huge number of people have turned up in number to this place. So there are a lot of activities. So we have the South Asia's tallest Christmas tree in the Golface Green as well, and we have a light show in the Presidential Secretariat, and people are taking selfies, taking photos, and people are in numbers from different ages who have visited this place. So there will be a lot of things happening here as well. And if you're coming around Colombo, there's a huge traffic jam when you are trying to come to this place as well. So this is the very latest coming to you, reporting to you for Newsfirst. I am Budmin Amaradivakara.
Sirasa TV will broadcast the Christmas Midnight Mass this year from the Kurunagala St. Anne's Church. The Mass will be conducted under the leadership of His Lordship Harold Anthony, Bishop of Kurunagala, and will be aired live from 10:30 p.m. tonight.
This Christmas, where we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, we will be joining you tonight from the Kurunagala St. Anne's Church. The Christmas carol service is scheduled to begin at 10:30 p.m.
Meanwhile, the Christmas Mass, supported by Newsfirst, will take place at the Cathedral of Christ the King, Kurunagala. This Mass is scheduled to be broadcast live from 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night on Sirasa TV. Additionally, an entrance arch has been constructed at the Thalampitiya St. Andrew's Church in Kurunagala. Reverend Nishanta Fernando, Chief Priest of the Lanka Sabha of Kurunagala, recently inaugurated this arch. Meanwhile, a special security arrangement is in place for the people arriving in Colombo during the festive season. Director and media spokesperson of the Police Media Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Buddhika Manatunga, said that 6,500 police officers have been deployed for the security within the Colombo city limits. Additionally, approximately 600 police officers in civilian clothing have also been deployed for further security measures. Meanwhile, Director and media spokesperson of the Police Media Division, SSP Buddhika Manatunga, added that a total of 45,000 police officers have been assigned for security in other cities across the country.
The Cabinet has approved the Memorandum of Understanding between India and Sri Lanka on a project aimed at strengthening socio-economic development and bilateral cooperation. According to this Cabinet paper presented by the President, a grant of 2,371 rupees will be provided for development projects in the Eastern Province.
ඉන්දියාව සහ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව අතර සමාජ ආර්ථික සංවර්ධනය සහ ද්විපාර්ශ්වික සහයෝගය.
The Indian government is set to provide a grant of 2,371 million rupees for the implementation of a series of development projects in the Eastern Province under this Memorandum of Understanding signed to strengthen socio-economic development and bilateral cooperation between India and Sri Lanka. 33 projects have been identified under this agreement, with the government of India expected to provide a grant of 2,371 million rupees. This includes 315 million rupees for education, 780 million rupees for health, 620 million rupees for agriculture and 230 million rupees for fisheries. The Cabinet has approved this Cabinet paper to authorize the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding for these projects.
කිරීමට කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය විසින් මේ කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව විසින් අනුමැතිය ලබා දෙන්න ලැබුවා.
විශාල චෝදනාවක් එල්ල කරනවා සමාජ මාධ්‍ය හා හැමතැනින්ම එඩ්කායක සම්බන්ධව ඒ කාලෙත් මහජන පුස්තකාලයේම රැස්වීම් තියමින් ඊට විරුද්ධ වුණා. නමුත් දැන් ගිහිල්ලා ඒ සම්බන්ධව ගිවිසුම් අත්සන් කරලා තියෙනවා. අත්සන් කරන්න නියමිතව තියෙනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් සාකච්ඡා කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් ඉන්දියාවේ එන හොඳයි වගේ එකක්.
ඕනෑම ජාත්‍යන්තර වෙළඳ.
We prioritize the needs of the country when signing any international agreement, whether it pertains to trade, security or any other domain. We are ready to engage in open discussions regarding any agreement. We are prepared to consider and negotiate agreements with any country or institution. Before signing any agreement, we will engage in public consultations. Currently, our focus is on discussing these agreements. We are ready to move forward with these discussions. It is important to note that none of these agreements have been signed yet.
Sri Lanka කච්චතිව දූපත නැවත ඉන්දියාවට පවරාගත යුතුයි කියලා ඉන්දියාවේ ද්‍රාවිඩ මුන්නේට කලහම MDK කියන පක්ෂයේ කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයෙන් යෝජනාවක් සම්මත කරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන් ඉන්දු ලංකා දීවර ගැටළු වලට විසඳුමක් විදිහට තමයි මේ යෝජනාව සම්මත කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ යෝජනාව ඉන්දියා මධ්‍යම රජයටත් යොමු කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා කියලා වාර්තා වෙනවා.
කච්චති දූප සම්බන්ධයෙන්
The Indian government has not made any formal request regarding Kachativu Island, nor is there any ongoing discussion on the matter. Therefore, what matters is not the statements of political parties in India, but if the Indian government submits an official request, we can commence discussions about it.
A shooting has taken place at a residence in St. Anna, Jaala. Police media spokesman SSP Buddhika Manatunga said that the shooting was carried out by two individuals who arrived on a motorcycle early this morning. The gate of the house, along with the walls of the house and two neighbouring properties, were damaged by gunfire. The police media spokesman confirmed that no one was at home during the time of the shooting. The police spokesman stated that the shooting was carried out with a T-56 firearm and approximately 40 shots were fired. The shooting was targeted at a house belonging to a relative of a suspected organised criminal named Batuatte Chamara. A similar shooting incident was reported from the same residence on the 15th of December. According to the police, 100 shootings have been reported so far this year. These shootings have resulted in 55 fatalities. The most recent shooting incident was reported yesterday in Koskadavala Veeragula in Yakkala, where a 30-year-old man was injured. Police stated that a 9mm firearm was used in the shooting. Meanwhile, a committee has been appointed to address organised crimes and traffic control. The committee is composed of selected Senior Deputy Inspector Generals of Police and Deputy Inspector Generals of Police in charge of certain provinces. The acting IGP, Attorney at Law Priyanthavira Surya, said that officers from the Criminal Investigation Department have also been assigned to the committee. The committee has been formed with the objective of tackling both organised crimes and motor accidents.
Journalists raised questions on shootings and the suppression of crime during the cabinet media briefing that took place today.
පාතාලය යලි හිස ඔසවමින් පවතිනවා. ඒ වගේම කුඩු සලිඳු හා පොඩි ලේසි රටින් පැනලා කියලාත් වාර්තා වෙනවා. පාතාලය මර්ධනය කරන්න මොනවද ගන්න ක්‍රියාමාර්ග කියලා දැනගන්න පුළුවන්.
අපි පාතාලයත් කුඩු ජාවා
I think it is better to discuss the results rather than discussing the steps taken to suppress the underworld and the drug mafia. Therefore, as a government, we can only say that we are taking necessary steps as it is our responsibility. You will also witness the results of this.
දාල කරන ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගනිමින් ඉන්නවා කියන එක පමණක් මට කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ ප්‍රතිඵලය බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබෙවි. එච්චර මට මේකට කියන්න.
තාමත් නීති විරෝධී ගිනියාවි සහ නීත්‍යානුකූල ගිනියාවි සමාජය තුළ තියෙනවා. ගිනියාවි බාර ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අවස්ථා ගණනාවකදී කාලය දීර්ඝ කරා. ඒකේ තත්ත්වය මොකක්ද? මේ වෙඩි තැබීම් සම්බන්ධයෙන් යම්කිසි පොලිසියත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ආරක්ෂක නිරීක්ෂණයක් තියෙනවා.
It is difficult for me to give an answer on the percentage of weapons that have been handed over. It has been observed that a number of shootings have been carried out in the past few days. The relevant investigations with regards to these shootings is also taking place and the relevant arrests will be made.
Questions were also raised on missing investigation reports.
2017 අවුරුද්දේ දවස් දෙකක් පොත්තල ජයන්ත මේ සාක්ෂි දීලා තිබුණා. නමුත් අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ කිසිවක්වත් නැහැ. දැන් ලසන්ත වික්‍රමතුංග ගැන අපි කතා කරනවා. ප්‍රගීත් එක්නැලිගොඩ ගැන. ඒතකොට අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව පවත්වන මේ අනිත් පරීක්ෂණවලත් තත්වය මේකද?
පරීක්ෂණ කරන ආයතන ඇතුලේ තියෙන එක බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි මේ.
I think one problem that is being faced is the lack of evidence. Given that the country was being ruled by those who were behind these incidents in the first place, we should not assume that these organizations would have evidence either. A major challenge that the CID along with those involved in investigations face is to gather these evidences. We can say that justice will be served for everyone concerned. Some investigations are not seeing progress as a result of these obstacles.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
When the sun sets,
Dr. Harsha De Silva says that the credit rating agencies Moody's and Fitch increasing Sri Lanka's credit rating is a positive development.
දැන් ආරංචි වෙනවා ලංකාව ණය පැහැර හරින්නන්ගේ කණ්ඩායමේ.
We have got to know that Sri Lanka has been removed from the list of debt defaulters. It has been reported that Fitch and Moody's have upgraded the country's credit rating. This is truly a positive development and a reassuring signal for the entire country. Investors used to hesitate to come to Sri Lanka. This is not just a good sign for the government, but for the entire economy. The current credit rating from Moody's is CAA1. It is gradually moving upward. This result is a consequence of the efforts made under the previous government through legislation passed in Parliament and the efforts made to stabilize the country's economy. It is not something that was done recently. Essentially, what we are seeing now is the result of the agreement made 2 days before the presidential election, which remained unchanged and is now progressing forward in this way. This credit rating upgrade is a result of those efforts, not something entirely new. Fundamentally, this is about restructuring debt and the agreement made before the presidential election, which has been maintained without any drastic changes. We are yet to reach a level where we can access credit from the international markets with a higher rating. To do that, we would need to reach a triple-D rating, but for that, the economy has to be significantly strengthened. If we had the capability to move up in ratings, it should have been done earlier, because as per the IMF agreement, we would soon need to secure dollar loans from international financial markets. This process must be carried forward.
ඩොලර් ණය ලබා ගන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ඉස්සරහට අරගෙන යන්න.
Meanwhile, Minister of Labour Professor Anil Jayant emphasised that greater sacrifices are required to achieve even more victories.
Not only did the ratings improve, but a strainable analysis also indicates a positive outlook for the future. We believe everything is on the right track. We all need to make a small collective sacrifice. I hope that people will experience these positive signs in 2025.
A question was also raised about whether a salary increment could be expected next year.
A salary increase is assured, and we will be implementing the budget starting in April. This means that all state sector employees in the country will receive a salary increment from that month onwards. The budget also includes a provision to offer relief to those who have been affected by the ongoing crisis.
News First with the people.
The Sri Lankan Navy and Coast Guard seized 2 Indian fishing boats and apprehended 17 Indian fishermen while they were poaching in the Sri Lankan waters during a special operation conducted in the sea area north of Mannar early this morning. The Navy reported that it seized 2 Indian fishing boats during the operation as well. The 2 seized boats, together with the 17 Indian fishermen, were brought to the Thale Mannar Pier, and they will be handed over to the Mannar Fisheries Inspector for onward legal proceedings. During this operation, the Navy has held 72 Indian fishing boats and 554 Indian fishermen in island waters thus far in 2024 and handed them over to authorities for legal action.
A boat carrying 103 Myanmar refugees was brought ashore at the Mulliwaikal beach in Mullaitivu. Air Force media spokesperson Group Captain Erandagi Ganage says that refugees have since been transferred to the Mullaitivu Air Force Base. He confirmed that the refugees will remain at the Air Force Base pending the completion of legal proceedings related to their case. The group includes 24 males over the age of 16, 28 females over the age of 16, 24 boys under 16 and 27 girls under 16.
Veteran singer Priya Sirasa, who made an invaluable contribution to the Sri Lankan music industry for 56 years and captured the hearts of music lovers, passed away this morning. He was 80 years old at the time of his demise.
Born on the 27th of October 1944 in North Thandiya, Butlam, Priyadarshana Suryasena Liyanage entered the music industry in 1968, captivating audiences with his performances of lively baila songs. Later, he became extremely popular in Sri Lanka under the name Priya Suryasekara. His first song broadcast on the radio was Andura Andura Mage. Priya Suryasekara began his professional career in 1971 as a music teacher at the Kalaniya Gurukula National College, while also gaining recognition as a stage performer. He began performing simple songs in 1972 with hits such as Heta Davase Apatedena, Sudu Paravirana Se, Andura Andura Mage, Lihinin Rana Piya Salanne, Saratasaniva, Atharan Viman and Pranita Mibindu, winning the hearts of his audience. With his distinct singing style, Priya Suryasekara participated in numerous local and international performances and became an award-winning singer in Sri Lanka. At the Sumati Awards ceremony held this year, he was honoured for his significant contribution to the music industry by receiving the UW Sumati Pala Memorial Award, which is awarded once in a lifetime. He passed away this morning while receiving treatment at the National Hospital in Colombo. Mortal remains of the late singer will be placed at his residence in Nugegoda Gangodavilla from tomorrow onwards for the general public to pay their respects.
My father was never afraid of death. Until his last breath, he remained a courageous and brave individual. He used to tell me that the time of his birth brought him luck to become a veteran singer. No one has a voice like his. He took the best advantage of his voice throughout his career. He told me that you die only once and that he was not afraid of that.
Suryasena once participated in the Jiviteta Idadenna program on Sirasa TV. The final rites of Priya Suryasena will be carried out this Friday evening at the Boralla Public Cemetery. Author Kasun Mahendra Hinatigala, the husband of actress Madhavi Anthony, lodged a complaint with the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka today regarding the incident concerning his alleged unlawful apprehension and detainment by police.
When I offered to show my passport and explain my identity, they responded by using offensive languages and forcibly taking me to the Atharugiriya police station. We have come to the Human Rights Commission because human rights are fundamental rights that every individual in this country and across the world is entitled to. As a citizen of this country, I too deserve protection of my civil rights. The government and the police, as representatives of the state, are responsible for upholding the law and order. If our human rights are violated by them, we have no other recourse but to take action. What happened to me today could happen to your child tomorrow, or to you. To secure a free and just society, I am filing this complaint with the Human Rights Commission and calling for immediate action against this injustice. I am grateful for the police ongoing investigation into this matter. Special thanks to the Inspector General of Police and the relevant departments for their attention to this issue.
A ceremony to award diplomas for the year 2024 at the National Institute of Labour Studies took place in Colombo today.
The event was attended by several key figures including the Minister of Labour, Professor Anil Jayantha, and the Deputy Minister of Labour, Mahendra Singha.
Chairman of
Speaking at the event, the Minister of Labour emphasised on the importance of education.
Sometimes we may see education as a tool to put your bearings in the economy or to find a job or the employment opportunity or the means of income by doing or engaging in economic activities in any given society. However, it has a broader definition and broader boundary. It's not mere acquiring certificates or diplomas, or not merely expanding your competencies. Of course, your learning gives you knowledge, required skills and attitudes that constitute the competencies. But in real terms, the evolution of the societies, the learning really matters to change many things. It becomes catalyst. The education is the unparalleled, the variable in the world where everyone can come out and compete in par with our other nations. Education improves your capacity. If we relate this particular purpose to the present landscape of Sri Lankan economy, society, we strongly believe that education can be a catalyst, can be a game changer. That's the reason why our government, even before forming the government, we stated the significance, we recognized the significance of education in many ways. Of course, this is one way of pulling our country out of this particular abyss.
Industrial relations and labor application, seen as diploma in practical applications of labor law, NM Gajumti.
Indian Coast Guard ships Vaibhav and Abhiraj arrived in Sri Lanka for a goodwill visit yesterday. The visit of the Indian Coast Guard ships Vaibhav and Abhiraj aims to enhance maritime cooperation and regional ties. The commanding officers met senior officials from the Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Coast Guard, reaffirming shared goals for stability. The visit features joint exercise Sagarex 24, onboard training and professional exchanges.
On to some news from overseas now. The interim government of Bangladesh has sent a diplomatic note and urged India to send deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina back to Dhaka.
The 77-year-old Awami League leader has been living in India since the 5th of August when she fled Bangladesh amid massive protests that brought down her 16-year-old regime and forced her to flee. The Dhaka-based International Crimes Tribunal or ICT has issued arrest warrants in names of Sheikh Hasina and her ministers, advisors and former military and civil officials, accusing them of crimes against humanity and genocide. Tawhid Hussain, the foreign affairs advisor in the interim government, told reporters that they have sent a diplomatic message to the Indian government saying that Bangladesh wants her back for the judicial process. Earlier, Home Advisor Jahangir Alam said his office has sent a letter to the External Affairs Minister of India to facilitate Hasina's extradition. Alam said an extradition treaty exists between Dhaka and New Delhi, according to which Hasina can be taken back to Bangladesh under that arrangement. The diplomatic communication seeking Sheikh Hasina's return comes weeks after Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri visited Bangladesh and spoke to Chief Advisor in the interim government, Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. French President Emmanuel Macron named a new government Monday evening, putting together a team under François Bayrou, his fourth Prime Minister of the year, to drag the second largest EU economy out of political crisis. Élysée Secretary General Alexis Kohler announced that French President Emmanuel Macron named former Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne Education Minister in a new cabinet under centrist Bayrou. Another former minister, Manuel Valls, returned as Overseas Territories Minister, while former Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin became Justice Minister. The presidency said both Defence Minister Sébastien Lecornu and Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot kept their jobs. Lecornu, a 38-year-old lawyer with a keen political nose, has served in every government since Macron's first election as president in 2017. Conservative Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau, who has vowed to crack down on illegal immigration, and right-wing Culture Minister Rachida Dati also stayed in their posts. The difficult job of delivering a budget plan for next year falls to Eric Lombard, head of public sector lender CDC, who was named economic minister. The inclusion of two former prime ministers indicates Macron's desire for a heavy heavyweight government that will enjoy stability and not share the fate of Bayrou's predecessor, Michel Barnier, ousted in a no-confidence vote.
US President Joe Biden has commuted the sentences of 37 out of 40 federal death row inmates, switching their penalty to life in prison without parole.
The three excluded from the measure include the Boston Marathon bomber and the man who killed Jewish worshippers in 2018. In a statement, Biden said he was, quote, more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level, unquote. His measure does not include more than 2,000 people convicted to death by state authorities. Biden's decision comes before the return of President-elect Donald Trump in January, who resumed federal executions when he was in office. Among those reprieved by Biden are 9 people convicted of murdering fellow prisoners, 4 for murders committed during bank robberies, and 1 who killed a prison guard. We are just a few hours away from Christmas that marks the birth of Jesus Christ. Some countries have already welcomed this joyous day.
We at Newsfirst would like to wish all our viewers a joyous and peaceful Christmas. That's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. God bless.